Okay, Triple Dark Ascension, and then of course we
zeros.
missed that. These things are firing like crazy because it's day one.
And they're not ridiculously overcosted because it's release.
Right. It's not the pre-release, let's make them pay so much that they'll still pay it because they're idiots, but...
Because, they like being raped.
Right. Speaking of
Twice.
being raped by Watsy, the Grand Prix, I didn't really get to tell the whole story there. So in the first round, I played against actually a pretty bad matchup. He was playing a Delver deck that had... Oh, I guess we have to pay attention to this.
Since we don't know the cards that well.
Right. I'm tempted immediately to go with Lingering Souls just because that's getting you 4 spirit tokens, which is pretty good. This card can be a board wiper on their side, but it's expensive, and sometimes it doesn't work out that way if you've already killed a bunch of stuff.
I've had it always wipe the board.
You've had good luck with it?
And it's a great follow-up to increasing devotion. Ooh, I got 10/1/1s, yeah. However, I do think Lingering Souls is better.
Now, what I don't like, I mean, we might get a white card back here, but I don't like that someone probably is going to take Townfolk, and Cathar can't be, or Cathar.
I think Alpha Brawl or Burning Oil will go next.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll have white
probably
down.
have a couple spots.
I say go for it.
Okay. Lingering Souls.
Ah, black white it is.
Yeah, so when we pull that Sorin, we'll be in the right color combination.
Yeah, sweet.
And so since we just passed a good red removal spell, Rack with Madness can be okay. It's not always great because there's so many 4/5 or 3/6 creatures that won't quite kill themselves with it, but
you got Black Cat, which is cute. I love the art.
It's arguably a little expensive.
I love the art.
Yeah.
And that's about it. Thraben Heretic is a grizzly bear with a potential upside, but not exciting.
Right.
So
there's a giant worm. There's a kind of crappy werewolf that can be good if they actually are playing an artifact.
I say take the removal spell.
Take the rock.
Sure.
Okay.
The pack's pretty unexciting.
That that we all agree on. Okay. Ooh.
Green.
Yeah.
I see a lot of green.
Now this guy's pretty decent. I mean, a 2/3 flyer on its own is pretty decent, but with flash, you can.
He's probably him or the Pyreheart Wolf are the two strongest cards.
Pyreheart's better than I thought. Like in the pre-release, the Undying makes all the difference.
Yes, definitely.
Because if it didn't have Undying, it would be pretty much unplayable. But the fact that you can do that once, and they have horrible blocking, and then you go to do it again after they kill it.
There is the Wolf Hunter's Quiver, which is expensive, but still is a ping.
Right.
But 5 equip is rough.
Okay.
Pyreheart.
Okay. Thank you, George. Making the tough decisions.
If you say so, man.
I don't even know what this is. Okay.
I see Burden of Guilt.
Yep.
And the Inquisitor.
Yep.
Maybe Faithless Looting, but I'm not the hugest fan of the card.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have to be building a deck toward it. And I don't think that's the deck we're building.
No.
Burden of Guilt is, it's not great removal, but
it is.
Yeah, it does a pretty good job. There's not a whole lot of enchantment hate in, especially Triple Dark Ascension. So
I think it's better than Inquisitor.
Yeah,
fair enough.
It's cheap. And you don't have to pay it every time, although you want to. Well, there's a gather to the townsfolk.
Right. So if we can figure out a way to enhance our tokens, we're gonna.
The Forge Devil is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Loyal Cathar is fine, although Gather I think is better than the two, and I would be willing to play an Iron White. Yeah.
Iron Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd play it also. I mean, I think Townfolk is just better.
Yes,
Um,
definitely.
But if that tables, I wouldn't be against taking it and playing it.
No.
2/2
Fuck you.
fly. Stormbound Geist is amazing. He is ridiculous.
Really?
Yes.
Now,
He's
it depends on
the
whether
biggest pain in the butt to play against. And
ever
I would take him just because
you
we're
don't want to
not
see
going to
him.
play anything else, and
Right.
I don't want to play against
We might
him.
play Undying Evil.
There's another.
That card's
that's-
decent also. What I would almost take this over it, because if we're talking about getting, our spirits out, this guy trades with it, this guy shuts it down.
True.
So,
Fair enough.
and really, pack one, do you have to be married to
Yes.
color?
You have to have married everything.
From the first pick,
First
you must
pick, you have
know.
to decide what 3 colors you are playing.
Okay, that's the guy who enters and taps.
Yeah,
There's another one where you attack and a tap. It's a 2/1
2/1
flyer,
for 3.
which
That or the Heckling Fiends is.
Sanctuary
That's
Cat. We
useful.
should totally take the Sanctuary Cat. No.
okay, so it's kind of like a curse of the whatever the hell it is, nightly hunt.
Yep,
Only you have to pay
Or
for it.
that
any number
said,
of
flyer.
blue cards.
Yeah,
is my bid.
take evasion.
Yep. Scourge Devil, Spirit, or Chant.
Hey, there's that young wolf.
There is a young wolf. We're nowhere near green.
So there's that and that, depending on which. Now this thing is not bad. Like, I really thought it was going to kind of suck, just because they would then have a blocker. But oftentimes you're putting on something that's like X2.
Well, if they attack you, you get like an ass ton of life back, right?
But the Forge Devil kills a lot of things.
Yeah, and we have more red than blue at this point. So unless we get,
And we can get a chant right now if we really want.
yeah, we could. What does this do? Protection from a color.
And if you're 5 or less life, you cast it, they can't block, you hopefully win.
Right. So a plus side to that is we know we're playing white. No, that's not so good. We
It's
could
flying
get that.
creature.
Yeah, it is. Probably the
Yeah,
base shield.
it's playable. And we know we're playing white.
And is Griptide playable?
It's playable, but it's not anywhere close to Grasp.
Right, without the flashback.
flashback, yeah.
Even though it's an instant, it just
How often does that matter?
right.
More often you're just doing it to buy time.
Maybe Break of Day if we
Why not?
get more tokens. That if we get more tokens, I'd play a couple of those.
Skillful Lunge.
Yeah.
Crushing Vines is great, but we're not really looking at green.
Right, that could be good against us, but really only against our
Tokens.
yeah. And it's none of those. What are we going to play?
Mystic Retrieval is probably the best card.
Which one is?
The blue one.
Okay. Well then we'll cut that.
Take
I
the
don't-
secrets because you know you want it for your collection. Actually, Bone to Ash is probably what I'd take just because I don't
Right.
want to play against it.
Yep.
Plains.
Plains. Yep. I will not take a favor of the woods.
We would love to see somebody play that. That makes us happy.
Okay. So we don't have strong.
Hey, Ravenous Demon.
Ooh. But there is a Drogskull Captain.
Right, which would push us definitely more toward
And the increasing confusion, which even as your only mill spell is pretty dang good mill spell.
right. You can win, especially a 40-card deck.
Exactly.
It doesn't take long to do that. This guy, no. I mean, we do have humans that we can sacrifice to it, but
But you only need to sacrifice one, but he is double black.
right. This guy would make all of our spirits grow and be hexproof, and right now we're talking about that plus
Lingering souls
this
and that.
and that. So we do have a fair number of.
I think it's more or less a flip of the coin as to whether it's increasing confusion or the captain.
The captain would require us pretty much to move into blue to get more spirits. The confusion can just be splashed.
True.
Right. But, I mean, there's also enough white spirits, maybe not great ones, but.
I think we'd want to move into blue if we do it, which I would be okay with.
Yeah. Oh, this is not that good land. Okay, there's another spirit. Flying. Has a little trick to it.
Nibbles of the urn.
This one is the entering play.
Nibble.
This guy's kind of fun. I mean, we're not in the color, but especially I think when it gets to block instead of triple Dark Ascension, he just kind of rounds out a werewolf deck nicely. I think probably. What the hell does this thing do?
This is the one. This is what he was talking about earlier.
It's fun with Undying Evil.
Right.
I like the Hollowhenge Spirit better than the Nibelus
Of the mist.
of the Mist.
Yeah, I think that's.
Fair enough.
Okay, so now we have a crazy giant. We're putting a ton of tokens on our creatures and getting enormous.
Which if Fires of Undeath wasn't there, I'd hate the green card because 5 tokens is ridiculous.
Yeah, and this card is just a bitch to play against. But yeah, I think Fires of Undeath would be probably.
And we are already looking to splash black for the Lingering Souls flashback, so it's not gonna.
Now, are there any good fixers in this set?
Just the land.
Evolving
Terramorphic,
Wilds.
Evolving Wilds one.
That's a pretty good card too. I mean, we'd be playing the rainbow, so I'm not saying we take it, but it is a pretty good card. This one, we're not going to have enough flashback.
No.
Oh, that's the crappy curse.
There is more than one crappy curse, but that's one of them.
One of the crappy curses. So the Break of Day and Inquisitor.
We already have one Break of Day. I don't see playing 2
Right.
Inquisitor or the Near Heath Stalker just because it has Undying, but we're kind of. I don't know if we're red or blue or.
Right.
Take the Inquisitor.
Take the Inquisitor. He makes a spirit token when he dies. He gains a little bit of life. Happy that they're getting that.
Evolving Wilds or Wreck with Madness. Foily version, of course.
I'm going to take this one. I just feel more comfortable. It's hard to say.
I think that there's a very good chance we're playing at least 3 colors, even if one of them is a splash.
We are playing 3.
So
Yeah.
I would say that Evolving Wilds is probably the way to go. I was hoping to get it as a coming back thing. It did not happen. I would not expect to see it again.
Okay, so take it over the rack.
I have to agree.
Now maybe we'll see 12 of them.
Of course.
That really seemed like a good decision on our part, and I'm not sure if I may walk after this, if that's the way the show's going to go. I think Collar, in combination, if we could get another Gather the Townsfolk, or even if we don't, since we're white, We're going to have a fair number of humans, which are turning into spirits, which are
Then getting bigger.
potentially getting enhanced. That being said, draw 2 cards is draw 2 cards. So, and this guy does kill a lot. But if you're splashing, I don't know if you splash.
No, we wouldn't.
What was
Divination.
Divination.
I don't know. I coin flipped in my head. Another Emmer Wolf.
Yeah.
ugh.
That being said, Headless Gob coming into play tap kind of sucks, but a 3/6 body is...
A 3/6 body?
Yeah, and when you're taken to the air, if you can hold the ground.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chant kind of does the same thing too, putting on a ground pounder.
Right.
We don't care that it can still block. We're going to fly over its head.
I think.
7
the
creatures,
Headless.
I think, take the creature.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Torch Fiend, because destroying an artifact might be worth sighting in, even on a splash.
Yeah.
It's potential.
Especially if they get that damn thing that exiles creatures.
And I don't think we want 2 Bone to Ashes.
We don't want 2, we want 3.
Now we can get a Divination again.
We're really going to be drawing a lot of cards.
I hear that.
I've heard that works well for people. Not us so much.
No,
But
it's never worked for us.
Ooh, we can have a Sanctuary Cat now.
But let's take the Stalker.
That being said, I think every other card is better than it.
including the forest. I'm okay taking this because if you get that
What the
guy
fuck
who,
is
when
that
he
supposed to
damages
be?
them, he flips into a mind control.
True.
I had 3 of them in the draft that I did, and so I ended up playing that, and it worked well. I don't know,
How
maybe.
You only got, what, 2 flashback spells, maybe 3?
Right.
Sure, Saving Grasp. It's blue and white, and we might play one of those colors.
Which of the cards we're not going to play do we want to take? Good, they're not going to kill our humans. You fools. You
That
had
being
your
said, I
chance.
think we can hide the Artful Dodge and the Savings Grasp. They're not
I
really...
think we need to be prioritizing towards peoples now.
Peoples.
We're a little low on peoples.
I'm going to prioritize towards taking a drink. I love the name of Zombie Apocalypse. It's not always good. It's probably fairly good against us, but
Zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Is this the end of zombie Shakespeare?
I
That
I
said,
thought I was going to love Blood Feud, but in the limited amount I've played, it never worked out where I was able to kill 2 of the creatures I wanted to. Like, they always had one big one and one small one. So it was removal, but it was expensive.
I guess it. Right now, I'm thinking we're splashing red and
And
playing blue more, and double red is because we want to play divinations, the captain,
Right.
the stormbound guys. So the double red kills it for me.
Do we go with
That or
We
Thought
do
Scour
anyway,
doesn't
evil.
really
Are
do
we
us
doing-
much.
We're doing white blue primarily, though, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And we want to prioritize peoples. Remember?
Oh, okay. So let's Inquisitor.
Take the Inquisitor. No, I don't remember that. Who had that genius idea?
Ooh,
There we go.
that's what we want.
That-
I can't think of any argument. I mean, I love the burden of guilt.
Yeah, but
The
getting
lone-
2 of those
Yes.
is just too good to.
So the Geist, then?
The Stormbound Geist is my.
Ooh, although there is the Nibbles of the Urn there, too.
And increasing ambition.
I
yeah.
think the 2/2 flyer Undying is better than the 1/1 flying tapping guy.
Fair enough.
And we can get another
Hey, it's
one.
twice as nice.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
The Griffin is good if he stays alive, but with 2 on the butt, he dies.
Midnight Guard is. I don't know if it'll always be, but at least in Dark Ascension solely, it
Looking
seems
at
like
our
it stops a lot.
3-drop slot, well, I guess I'd rather have the flyer
Yeah,
for sure. I would definitely play the 2/3 guy, but flying wins.
Yep. Especially when he becomes huge and hexproof.
It reminds me
He can be a
of
5/5 flyer for
It reminds me of a cordial cherry.
a little bit.
Hmm.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe without eating the actual cherry.
Yeah,
part,
yeah,
just
like
kinda
just the
sucking
stuff
it
that's
up.
around it.
Yeah.
You know, like a really
Burden
cheap
guilt?
cordial cherry.
That or the chant. Chant is a 3-drop, but
I've got a lot of those.
you drop it and forget it. Burden, you gotta keep tapping the mana if you need it.
Yeah.
I say burden just because our
Shriek
3-drop
Geist.
is pretty full.
We want more creatures.
Not that badly.
Oh, come on! It's not that bad.
Another 3. Ooh. He's actually pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And with our.
If we're splashing red, I mean, I would like this,
Yep.
and I
Wouldn't mind
would
him.
take that. But
No. We got
But you think
know,
you're going to take the hate down?
Stormbound Geist coming back as a 4/4, maybe off the pump, and
yeah, because we do have a fair amount of Undying in the air.
and he's got Undying himself, so you block and kill something, come back.
Probably another gather the town folk.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, the Griffin is nice, but it just dies to a lot for a 5-drop.
Right. And we're
And
a little low on the.
yeah, Break of Days I really don't count, so I definitely think Gather.
Sure.
Yeah.
He counts as people's.
I won't even fight you on it.
It doesn't help.
Whoa,
Our
what
strategy,
the fuck?
Like, we don't really need to, outside of our head list, we don't need cards in the graveyard. But it's a 2-drop creature that could trade with something. Fling, if we really. I mean, with Undying, Fling is kind of a.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious, is what it is.
I say take the guy.
Hopefully,
Even if we don't play him, we can side him in against aggressive decks to slow him up.
Right.
I see.
Chalice of Life.
That.
Or this. I don't think we could possibly gain enough life to.
We do it one at a time.
Except they're beating you in the face because
No,
you dropped a Chalice of Life.
You are
instead of a
looking at it in the
creature.
wrong fashion.
I say take the Heckling Fiends.
Okay.
Oh, come on!
He is a spirit and a guy.
Yeah, he is a spirit.
I don't like him, but
Man, so much hate for this one little kind of glow-in-the-dark creature.
because most of the time they're like, please, mill me.
Well,
At least a lot of the decks.
I have to admit.
Um,
Sexecutioner's Hood.
I say take the big green dummy.
yeah. We will have trouble dealing with the big green dummy. And we got a hood anyway.
Exactly. There we go.
Woot, we win.
Yep.
Actually, against a hyper aggressive red deck, I would happily bring a Sanctuary Cat in
Yep.
for my 5-drop.
Trade it with a Torch Fiend or whatever or that Hinterland Hermit, or there's several
Yeah.
that have 2/1 and. Okay. I'm going to start from the point that I know we're going to play our captains. And because of that, I know we're going to play nearly every spirit we have. And I'm even going to include Inquisitors as spirits.
Mm-hmm.
There. I know I'm going to play them, but they're not spirits, so they don't fit my thing. Burden of Guilt's maybe the only removal we're going to have. Spirits over here. We have our Triple Geist. That guy's probably coming in, but I'll put him over there. We have the Divinations. That's the one spirit that probably is not coming in.
So much bitterness. It's just sad.
And in red, does red even have any spirits?
Probably, but not for us.
Not that
We're looking at just kind of
that guy
and fires and maybe the 5/1 if we at most.
Right.
And bringing in the Torch Fiend if they have some
early things to kill.
The artifact killer.
Oh,
because we have no artifact.
The Torch Fiend.
Yeah. Second.
That's the one.
Right.
If we need it.
Okay. So, yes, we're taking our townsfolk, which, when we were looking at our creature totals, we didn't take into account that we had Lingering Souls and...
That's because they don't count. They aren't people.
But they are.
No, they're not. They're not people.
They're close.
They're less than people.
And they're humans.
Divinations.
But they're not more human than human.
But they're white humans.
Well, if they're white and they're human, they're good enough for me.
At least it's not a white orc. That's just weird.
We're at
creepy albino orcs. No thanks.
19. So what?
Should have had that.
Can we look at our curve?
Yeah.
Well, our 3 drop slot is
Wow, we suck.
good.
We can
I think we
survive
need
to turn 3.
Well, we got what 14.
You guys know we're playing the
creatures,
Street Guys,
essentially.
right?
We have 14
We got
creatures.
the Screeching Scob.
Right. Creatures as
The
possibilities.
Straight Geist.
The Sanctuary Cat. Or dive farther into red. And we're probably playing a single swamp as well for
I want to
that,
play
and-
one swamp, one mountain kind of thing.
yeah,
I don't
and
think,
an evolving wild.
yeah, I don't think going into red farther's a good.
It's wise.
Right. So, what else do we have here? We could play Bone to Ash, but that's not going to help us early. We could play Break of Days to hopefully get more out of our
Or Skillful
tokens.
Lunge
right.
is not bad. The first strike helps to basically make it a removal spell of sort.
Yeah, I would be fine with
I
that.
still want.
We probably
need a creature at least. I like the Scob and.
Do we just play
I'll
it?
play him because he's a spirit over the cat, and to make George happy.
Okay, so then the other thing that we probably want to
yeah,
put in
right.
is the Rack with Madness.
Good catch.
I don't know if that pushes us to 2 mountains or if we still are 1 in an evolving wild.
All our white is single white.
Right.
All of our blues is 2 blue.
Well,
Not quite. The problem with all our white being is that we also really want to cast our white early. Let's see what our... I mean, it's the algorithm. It's got to be right.
but we need one.
So if we put in 1 swamp, take out 1 mountain.
But we didn't put in our
And one
evolving
evolving.
wild. So 1 less plane and put in the evolving wild?
Yeah, I can't imagine
One-
that fucking us over.
Well, we don't need Burden of Guilt or Skillful Lunge early. I mean, those aren't 1 drops and 2 drops.
Right. We
would like to be able to play Gather turn 2 if we need it.
Right. Well, because that's really our only chance of playing. I guess those guys. Since we added those, it makes it a little bit better. I was thinking that's our only. We're either just waiting until we get to turn 3 and hopefully have 3 mana, or giving up. So
Black is only for flashback on a couple of things. So, I mean, you can survive without black, which makes me almost want to go down to one mountain, so our Evolving Wild always gets a mountain.
Yeah, but what's
Just
going to happen
going
is
down
the
to
mountain's
6
going to get thrown in
planes.
the garbage.
Going down to 6 plane, that's with that many white cards feels wrong.
Do that. And then essentially we have 2 mountains, or if we've already drawn our mountain, or happen to be holding, I don't know, Lingering Souls and really wanting to do it. We go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's better than going down to 6 planes.
Okay.
So we have 10 white, almost half our deck is white spells.
Yeah.
10 out of the 23, just going down on. But we can't go down on islands because we got those triple blues.
Right, and not
Or
just
3
10,
double blues.
like 12,
Yeah.
since we have the captain. So yeah, you're right. We need the white power. Okay. Submit this, or just time out and
Play them all.
And play them all.
No, because I think we got to submit because I can't start Sanctuary Cat. That would just be wrong.
Right.
He's already playing Street, guys. It's almost beyond his ability to comprehend.
What happens in Nebraska stays in Nebraska.